Thank you, and welcome to the Ed Sullivan Show, right here live from Hollywood. Tonight we have Yellow Thrust with Yuri and Gordon. Thank you, thank you. Please back off the stage and we'll get on with our really big show.
Hi everyone, my name is Yuri Nam. Welcome to Yellow Thrust, a voice for Asian Americans and all minorities. Today we're going to take a little bit of a different look from our regular issue-driven programming to discuss and analyze the motive behind the term yellow fever, the impulsive and uncontrollable attraction for Asians, whether that's carried through sexual, physical, spiritual, or voyeuristic forms. And what better way to skirt through such a erotic journey with my co-host. His name is Gordon Kim, who is also recovering from yellow fever. Hi, Gordon.
Hi, thank you, Connie. It's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome to the show. What is your definition of yellow fever?
Yellow fever is the exotic affinity of a human being towards the Asian American persuasion. That is uncontrollable, driven by the media images that have the Asian woman as the concubine and the submissive woman that
now,
a lot of people
no,
that's a stereotype, but a lot of people are driven by those images, and that's what gets the gander up.
And does that only apply to Asian women or Asian men too?
No, unfortunately just through Asian women. Not a lot of people give a damn about the Asian men.
You just said the damn word, huh?
Can we say that on cable?
I think so. You know, when you open fortune cookies and you always get this saying about your life will be better, you will meet a mysterious person soon in the future. We have a Confucius live here on stage. I think he's alive. Do you believe that Elvis is alive? You do, huh?
No. And do you notice only white people think Elvis is alive?
Elvis is alive.
Yeah,
well,
it's a
some people think that Confucius is alive,
Yes.
and he's here live on stage.
Is he really?
Oh yeah, and we're gonna meet him, and we're gonna try to find out what his version of a yellow fever is, and what his theory is.
So some pearls of wisdom.
Pearls of wisdom.
Great Korean philosopher known as Confucius, ladies and gentlemen.
Confucius say, African man who seek to pluck the rose petals of the mysterious but sweet and mysterious flower, the yellow flower, seeks to bind the yin and the yang. However, Mother Nature she has accommodated the bumblebee with the colors of a black and a yellow. One must be prepared for the big sting. Thank you. Thank you.
A powerful moment in television.
Is that what Confucius would look like if he were alive today? Very scary thought, huh?
Yes.
First, let me introduce you to our first guest, special guest. I brought him here. It was really hard, but they're here, and
they're in the midst of a tour, so we had to do a lot of booking, maneuvers, but we got them here, live on our very stage.
Okay, let me introduce them. They're first, this is True, and he's a rapper.
That's correct.
And he also has the thing for Asian women. And sitting right next to him, who also has a yellow fever, is Nitty. Welcome to the show. Speak your mind today, right? And sitting right next to him is Stir, who is also an Asian chaser.
Yes, stir it up. Let's give these people a well-deserved round of applause. Yes.
Thank you.
So what do you think about a yellow fever?
Well,
how does that apply to you?
Well, it's kind of, I guess, puts people to mind of like Nubian fever, and jungle fever. You know, like jungle fever where brothers were supposed to be infatuated with the European women. And of course, Nubian fever, that's just age old historically. You know, women were attracted to the black man because of, you know, everybody had their own reason. But
What are the reasons?
well, I can only speak for myself.
Now
so.
I'm going to say this word, and I know you hate the word G, but I'm going to say it. Is it the size of the genitalia? Do you think that attracts Asian women
Well, see,
to the African American males?
Like I
or?
said,
knew
I
she
can
was
only
gonna ask
speak
that.
for myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I have not witnessed any other black man's genitalia too. You know, so. But I don't know.
And
You
praise
would be,
God for that.
you would be more able to answer that question than myself.
Okay, let's moving on. Moving on. Nitty. What is your what is yellow fever to you? Is this a fad that's going on in the 90s now? Gordon? What do you think?
I believe so. You are correct.
Is it a fad?
Hey, I got a few for everything.
What's that?
White, Mexican, Puerto Rican,
Just
Asian.
all different mixture.
I got
It's
feet.
got woman fever. I got fever.
How about you, Stir?
Well, me myself personally, the Asian woman is beautiful. All types of women are beautiful. Currently, I have a Nubian, but I've experienced Asian women. To say it's a fever or something like that, I don't know. I'm not even gonna take it that deep. But to me, like I say, all women are beautiful, but some women are just less unattractive. Understand what I'm saying?
Like who? Who's less attractive?
I mean, that's all. That's all up to. That's all up to you.
That's all relative.
You know what I'm saying?
Just kidding aside, but what is it about Asian women? Is it the features? Is it the complexion, the pale complexion that excites you?
I think it's the
Or-
eyes.
You think it's the
I
eyes?
think it's
Yeah.
I was gonna say the
I
same
think
thing.
it's the
I
eyes.
think it's
The eyes is like round.
That might just like be just a contribution of all of those variables. You know what I mean? The complexion, the eyes, the features, because it's definitely distinct features in Asian.
Now, putting another slant into this, pardon the pun, are the media images that are pervasive throughout. Does that have anything to do with your perception of what the Asian woman is? And if in fact you have dated an Asian woman, how different are those perceptions as opposed to the reality of some of these? I'm sure you've met some Asians who are not quite what you thought they were when you saw in the movies. Some of them may actually be bitches.
Yeah,
Can I say that?
Oh, you can say that. You can say that on my show.
I would say, check this out. A Nubian woman is gonna act like her culture, you know what I'm saying? And Caucasian, they're gonna act like how they was taught or whatever, however they come. And the Asian's gonna be however they gonna be. You dig what I'm saying? So it's definitely a difference. You dig what I'm saying? But hey, to each his own. You know what I'm saying? Basically, I'm saying people are who they are, so you can't really just categorize all Asians and say, well, Asian's gonna be this way, Caucasian's gonna be that way, Nubian's gonna be that way. It's not like that. It's all up to that basic individual.
But that's what we want, though. But what the community want, you know, like if you see a Korean woman with a black man walking down Koreatown, you know you're gonna get looked at.
I'd rather
and
see.
you know
I'd
you're
rather
gonna get
see. I'd
humped
rather
at.
see
You know you're
Asians
gonna be
and black
criticized.
than Caucasians and black.
I mean, but going back to what you said about the media, man, the media portrays things the way, because see, they try to dictate the mindset of society. This is my opinion. They try to dictate the mindset of society, so I try to never be influenced by the way the media portrays any particular race, because I just can't appreciate the way that the black male in particular has been portrayed throughout the media. Because
Portrayed as what?
as a slanger, gangbanger, you know, slinging them rocks, you know. throwing them
But
bricks.
sometimes that's what women find it sexier.
Well, that's not the type of one I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying?
So it's
I
the media
realize that the
portrayal.
media is very manipulative, so
No,
I
on
don't
the-
let that affect my opinion of what an Asian woman is, because they, a lot of times from what I've seen in movies and things, I mean, they're like gorgeous, man. They're like the bomb. I mean, but no knock. I mean, everyone you come across, not the bomb. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, there's still the distinctive features that are appealing.
Now, on the flip side of that, what kind of backlash do you get from your own African American community if you were to walk down the street with a petite Asian woman?
You gotta remember, they ain't the one living with her. You gotta live with them. You can't worry about what nobody else
It
think.
would be, a lot of people would consider you as a sellout. I mean, but
Yeah.
it would be more acceptable in the black community, probably in the Asian community as well, if I was seen with an Asian woman as opposed to a Caucasian woman. That would be more acceptable, I guess, for the simple fact that we're both minorities. So,
Right.
you know, but it would be still considered as a sellout because I don't think a black woman would want to see any of that black men with anything else but a black woman. So
Exactly.
you'll get more slack from a black woman as opposed to another brother. Like, you
Right.
know, if Nitty saw me walking down the street with a Asian, a Mexican, or white girl or whatever, he'd be like, yo, it's all good, you know what I'm saying? This is like, it's not gonna bother
Nitty,
him.
it's the Rainbow Coalition gigolo here. You know
Well,
what
I know one Hollywood legend notorious for his skirt chasing of beautiful Asian women all over the continent.
That's
Who do you think that
correct.
is? Is it?
I believe. By the way, cue card man, Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando, one of the great stalwarts of Hollywood, of course, has fathered 2 grown children. Unfortunately, one of them is not with us now.
And he's not
God
finished
rest her
yet.
soul. He has fathered several Asian kids by Asian Pacific women. And he has quite an affinity to it, but who better to explain this?
Is that him right over there?
I believe it is.
I see.
Taking
I see Marlon
time
Brando
out
right over there.
from his Don Juan DeMarco, great performance here on our very stage, Mr. Marlon Brando, ladies and gentlemen.
In my favorite geisha house. And as you know, for many years I've been afflicted with yellow fever. Beautiful. This is Bubbles and this is Cuddles. I've given many hours to the Asian woman because they're so neat and they understand a man and his deepest needs. As you can see, I'm here taking care of my 2 wives who have given me 6 kids. I think I have 3 now, I forget. But either way, the most beautiful thing about an Asian woman is the beauty for silence and knowing when to keep quiet. And this is, to me, it gives the man more room to be able to express himself while the women keep their place in the back where they know when a man's place is and they give him some respect. And right now, I could use a little respect. This is Marlon Brando here, my favorite geisha house, and I'd like to welcome you to the Yellow Thrush Show. Oh, I could have been somebody. I could have been a contender. Ah.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. And who are those 2 beautiful women over there?
They
I
are,
think I'm going to introduce them.
talk about
Swell and
giving our
Joanne.
race a good name. Come on, let's have them down here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give a well-deserved round of applause, Joanne.
These are 2 gorgeous knockout Asian ladies who exude sexuality and erotica in a very subtle yet such impacting way that every man they've encountered all have gone to the moon or Mars or somewhere, right? They are the epitome of all male fantasy, and they're the women who, and they're not afraid to admit that they love black men. Is that right? It's right? And they got a case of a jungle fever.
Boy, Nitty's eyes just
His eyes just popped
unbelievable.
out.
Yes.
Nita, what do you think of them?
She.
Not only are they beautiful, talented,
So I think they're sellouts, man. They're just downing our race. Connie, Yuri. I mean, as an Asian American man, I'm I'm highly offended.
Wow, Gordon.
We like you too, Gordon.
Yes. Thank you. By the way, let's go back to
So what is your definition of yellow fever? Do you have a jungle fever or is it a yellow fever? Or is it a mixture of both? Or
It's a mixture. I always say, if a man is fine, he is fine in any color, you know? And I have a preference for black men, that's all.
Is that right?
You know,
And
it's
what
just a
is it about black men that, I mean, what's wrong with this guy here? What's wrong with him?
What's wrong with my Kato look and the Ato beard? You know? It's not doing it for you? Okay.
I like the way they move, the flavor, you know.
The flavor, huh?
Yeah.
You're going to
Now
love them
she's
later.
getting down.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Swell?
Well,
Now, Suel, off the air, you were telling me about a very succinct definition you had. It was actually quite philosophical in how you defined yellow fever.
Do I have to necessarily get into that? It doesn't really
Just give us a
matter
brief synopsis.
what fever you have, as long as you have the fever. That's all that really matters. But as Joanne says, the way they move, it's like so
Like how the way they move. Nitty, do you want to stand up and show them the move?
I can't move. That's a dance to that, baby.
Come on,
The
Nitty.
name of this show is Yellow Thrust. Can we have a couple, please?
I can't dance, baby.
Oh,
Hit the dance for me, stir.
Sure, hey,
stir it up. Stir it up.
Stir it up. Stir it up.
Stir it up. Come on.
Is that the move that you're talking about? Is that the move? Now turn around. Turn around.
Baby dip.
Now that is what you're talking about, right?
Look at you, though, yo.
Now what's that?
Go good. Go good.
He wants to be like them. He
Yeah.
wants to be, he wants to be.
It's an
What was the names
inferiority
again?
complex.
Sewell and
And Joanne.
Joelle?
Joanne.
Oh,
That's right.
Joanne.
Hey, Bubbles. Actually, if you want to refer to both of us, just call us Joelle.
Now, since Yuri has already touched upon that very stereotypical, quite offensive area when we're talking about this, does the black myth have anything to do with your attraction?
Wait a minute. Not necessarily
not a myth.
Not a myth.
Not a myth.
No, the three of you know it's not.
It's not even a myth.
I have to be
That's
politically
a
correct.
fact. How you
That's
call
what
it?
I'm saying.
I have to be politically correct.
Okay.
Are you referring to the
She'll know
sexual
better than
prowess?
I
Is
do.
that what you're talking about? I think that's a generalization you can make about anybody, but there's definitely some truth to it.
Have you ever been with an Asian man?
Sit and dip.
Well,
Sean.
see, the thing with Asian men is that I've encountered two kinds of Asian men. One Asian man who is very traditional, someone they can bring home to their mothers, and I don't fit that category. And then there's the other Asian man who will go out with anyone but an Asian woman because they're afraid of their own identity. So I usually end up going out with men who...
Well, I'm sure you haven't seen this one Asian man because he compare him to them. I don't know. What do you think? Here's this is the we need some music. With this intense conversation, we're gonna go to a short commercial, and this is the brief promo, the Asian version, and check out his chest.
Give you a place to release your feelings. A star deep rhythm with a standing healing. A word and a message with a lot of emotion. With total dedication and a lot of devotion. And a lot of devotion. Well, let's start here at the beginning of my lyric. To be, to back, to rhyme is not a lyric. To rock, to roll, to soul is what I aim for. Wait till I hit the goal and that's the top score.
No Asian girls don't get between me and my Calvin.
Get the justice and the job's really done.
Now,
Oh boy, Yuri.
Nitty.
Oh
can you top that?
no.
Nitty, can you top that?
Come on, buddy. Off with the
Yeah,
shirt.
I'm
Off
Now
with
you're
the shirt. Come on.
speechless.
I ain't speechless.
Can you top that?
I'm a bum, sure.
Yuri, I have a confession to make.
What's that?
I enjoyed that a little too much.
Maybe you are.
I'm telling you, oh boy. Okay.
Where's he going?
Maybe this is a turning point of finding
Right.
out your sexuality.
That's
Maybe
right.
there's a
That's right.
possibility
I'm,
that you
I'm Rainbow
you have
Coalition
an attraction
too.
for.
I'm Rainbow Coalition too. Male or female.
So what did you think of that?
I could get with that. I could get with that.
Now I'm gonna ask the same dry question I asked them. Do you get a lot of flack from the Asian guys saying you guys are going out of your way?
Actually, my last two boyfriends were black, and it's true what they said that I usually got shade from black women. It wasn't so much from the Asian community or the white community. It was mainly from black women. But Asian men do tend to get offended because, as you said with yellow fever, it kind of applies to Asian women, and so they feel really kind of shunned by the whole phenomenon, if you will. You know, so there's animosity definitely from Asian men.
Can I ask you a question? I really love your dreadlocks. Now, was that inspired by dating dating a black man, or maybe
Another
inspired by
No, I've been growing my hair for 5 years, and it comes from not brushing your hair, actually.
So, Joanne, you said your last 2 boyfriends were black. So it's past tense, right?
We're black.
Not anymore.
Whoa,
pick up here.
whoa, we're having a Chuck Woolery moment here. Whoa.
That's safe.
How about Swell? I know Swell is trying to make a transition from a black man to tasting some Korean men. Is that right?
Since the topic is yellow fever, I mean, I don't mind having yellow fever as well. But, you know, I'm kind of, after seeing the Roots, kind of B-boy flavor.
It was on.
Oh, dear.
See, ever since Sue and I lived together, and ever since she's been hanging out with me, she's definitely got
a B-girl.
She definitely has some fever, whereas before she was a little more.
I've been exposed to, because the thing is, I mean, I grew up in a very isolated sort of manner with my parents, and, you know, not being allowed to integrate myself with other cultures. But as soon as you do, and the exposure's there, it's quite likable, I have to admit. You know.
What is it about Asian men that you like?
What I think it's really. I mean, I haven't really dug deep into it, but it's a familiarity.
Do you think it's also the success of making money?
No.
Because a lot of the Asian males, you know, they may look geeky, but you know, a lot of them have their own.
Well, I don't know if you should say that. I don't think a lot of Asian males do look geeky. I think a lot of our Asian, you know, counterparts get a lot of slack. You know, I find Asian men to be as sexy. It's
the younger generation, maybe.
But just as every culture, you have the side that you say is unattractive and those that are attractive.
Yeah, I think there's a really negative stigma attached to Asian men, which I think that needs to be changed. You know, Asian women can be seen as exotic, but I mean,
Asian men are seen as geeky, as the nerds.
And what is analysis for that?
Asian men
Can
be appeared as geeky. Well, see, that's not my opinion. I never really, well, I guess I've never really taken the time to assess an Asian male anyway.
I don't look at men, period.
I didn't even think so. I can't really offer
We should ask Asian man sitting right here, Gordon.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Honey, you're sweating.
Do you notice that when
He's getting the yellow fever right now as we're talking.
I'm afflicted with this horrible disease. Do you notice that when she said the word geeky, the cameraman panned right to my face? It's like out of nowhere. It had like no meaning in this whole show. But anyway,
so ladies, have you've dated black?
What do you
men?
got? Suddenly you got your own talk show?
No.
For God's sake.
He's trying to pick up. I'm giving him a leeway to pick up here.
You've dated Asian men, black men. Have you ever dated a white man? So do you find, first of all, do you find any differences in what are like the
There are differences through my experience. There are, just like no two relationships are alike, though. You know, you really can't.
I got you.
I think it's the strength of a black man. The black man, in my opinion, because we all have opinions, the black man is the strongest man on the face of the earth. So just because of the strength in that, you're gonna attract to that. If you're a woman,
No, it's
not nothing.
true.
If you're, let's say, if you feminine, some women is hard. You know what I'm saying, or whatever they are. But if you're a woman and you cater to a man, you're gonna attract to the black man because we're strong.
It's attitude.
As simple as that.
You gotta speak out.
Attitude.
What?
You gotta speak out for all the Asian men out there. He's saying black men are the best.
No,
What are you
I'm not
gonna
gonna play that game because he makes a very good point. You know.
So you agree that black men are the best?
No. What I'm trying to say is that
We're the strongest.
That's right. I believe everybody here
America.
has made their point in the meaning that yellow fever should not be looked upon as a disease, but just frankly, that it's just a condition that everybody has. You know what I'm saying? Everyone, different strokes for different folks, and I think it's quite nice. And not only that, I think Nitty's sitting there falling asleep. I think you should give us.
Nitty an all-star. Nitty,
that's right. He's
Nitty
an
a
all-star.
basic fact guy. I'm an all-star. I'm playing all fields. I look for one that's best for me.
Switch hitter, all 9 positions, great.
Actually, I want to ask these gentlemen if what they think of when they think of an Asian woman. Do they think that they're going to be submissive and docile
Subservient,
and, you know,
I think
cater to their
that
men?
you can only voice your opinion on what you taught or what you see, and from what I see in movies or TV or anything like that, you know what I'm saying, it's taught to us that an Asian woman is submissive. You understand what I'm saying? But you can never actually say what is until you actually experience it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Initially,
that's why I say everyone has their own individuality. So you have to deal with that person and see how that person is coming at you, if you can understand what I'm saying. But you know,
I guess
I figure like this: as long as we attracting to women, ain't nothing wrong. When we start looking at men, that's when the question should be asked: what's wrong? You see what I'm saying? But a woman is a woman.
another show.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what.
Race or creed.
Whether your case is a yellow fever, jungle fever, or Latin fever, whatever your fever is, and what fever are you on now? All fever.
Doing the all-star.
I've got about
Just the way I'm feeling
103
right
right
now.
now. Yeah.
Because the way I'm feeling right now, I think I have the multicolored fever, and it's about to ejaculate any second.
Whoa,
and you know
hello.
what? I think we're gonna wrap the show up with some rap that made by the Bums.
Yeah.
They are called the Bums.
By the way, you know,
the
this whole
rappers
discussion.
from Baltimore,
that's right.
from the
Yuri,
East Coast.
This whole discussion, by the way, let's not lose sight of the fact that these three are up-and-coming recording artists.
Oh, of
looking
course,
for
of
a
course.
label, by the way.
The Bums.
Okay, right. And before they perform their rap, we have to say something that we planned this whole show around. Okay. Radio Korea, I'm looking at you, baby. You canceled our show. Listen, I'm on cable access. So eat this right here.
Why you cancel the show?
So anyways, let's go, you guys. Let's hear your stuff.
Let's do this. All right.
Let's go. You have 1 minute, so hurry up.
Yeah, 1 minute.
You say how many minutes?
Can you give him the mic?
We need this mic.
Okay, can we have the music?
You say 1 minute?
Here you go. I might need this mic.
Say 1 minute, we gonna flip the script. That's how many? How many minutes?
Yeah.
Turn it up.
Turn it up. I just can't get enough of them, I just can't, I can't get enough of them. I just can't, I can't get enough of them. I can't get, I can't get enough of them. The blocks on my hip giving good vibrations. It's got me saying goodness gracious, hellacious pages from Nubians and Asians. Yo, by the way, it's kinda contagious. Now I met me this lady, she thought she drove true love crazy. She tried to play me, couldn't fade me or persuade me, but she laid me when she paid me an unexpected visit. But before I even hit it, check out how I did it. Now we're sitting in my living room, sipping some Dom Perignon. As I laid Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On, I felt the mood was right, so I made a toast. Pulled her on the floor and we danced real close, yeah. You know that slow dance groove that I'm steady flexing. I get them hot when I muscle up a slight erection. I looked at her, she looked at me. When I saw her laugh, that's my cue. It's time for the bubble bath. Lit a candle, covered the floor with potpourri, sat her in the tub, then broke her off some poetry. I just can't get enough of her. I can't get enough of her. I can't get enough.
Young Asian woman, girl, I want you to bear witness to this damn plate I call taking care of business. A single man, yes, the more the merrier. If you can't stand the ring, then young girl, I curry you. Through life, you had tribulation, girls, and trial. Be my queen bee, and I be your honey child. Damn, caress your body with some TLC. I'm a girl and then 11, he was thinking of me. He said, let there be man, and I call him Nitty Scoda. Put on the world to be the ladies' controller. Let it be said that I can hold my own. Girl, I'm hungry all over, plus I'm bad to the bone. Damn, I got my only techniques that I use when the light goes off.